Brothers and sisters, welcome. This is pro-life leader Frank Pavone bringing you my daily diary segment for 2 action-packed days, Friday the 28th and Saturday the 29th of June of 2024. You know, you talk about a kid in a candy store. Well, that's me plus 10 times more when I am at a pro-life conference. Those of you who have been with me on these conferences know exactly what I'm talking about. And maybe some of you were among those I saw, greeted, talked to, prayed with, strategized with at the National Right to Life Convention. That's what took place in Arlington, Virginia on the 28th and 29th. I was there for every minute of it. And kid in a candy store is all I can say. Absolutely just on cloud nine, being with, let me tell you what I did from morning to night, being with these pro-life activists from around the country. So I had gotten in late the night before, got up real early because the night before had been the presidential debate. And I couldn't watch it live because I was on the plane. So I saw a recording of it early in the morning. That's how my day started on Friday. And watched how well President Trump did, how disastrously Biden did. So I was ready to comment on it because I was going to have various interviews during the day and conversations about it. Once I got that out of the way, I watched that, I had to just touch base on my email with a couple of things, the upcoming 115 forum, the leaders meeting, some arrangements for that, some arrangements with our website department on pro-life legislation updates, and some further work on the letter I'm sending out to all the bishops about our Preach for Life activities, and some work with staff that prepare bulletin inserts for the parishes on pro-life topics. Took care of a lot of that work, went downstairs to get an early breakfast in the hotel, did that, came back up, did a little bit more work, and then got ready for the prayer breakfast that was part of the conference. And so we went down, it was about 7:30 that got started. Guest speaker, I don't know, maybe you're watching, Father Paul Scalia. It was good to see you. His dad, of course, was Justice Antonin Scalia on the Supreme Court, but Father Paul was there, greeted him, and there were some other priests there that I had more conversations with, and other clergy. You'll see it on my social media. So that took place. I was there at the prayer breakfast. Great, sitting down with folks from South Dakota, pro-life leaders from other parts of the country. I went around and greeted everyone, the president of National Right to Life, the former president, various members of the team there, researchers. It was just, like I say, kid in a candy store. And then I had to leave the prayer breakfast a little bit early because I had to do a live interview from my hotel room on Real America's Voice, Dr. Gina's program. She wanted to have me comment on the debate from a faith perspective, actually. That was very interesting. So I did that interview just prior to 9 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, I had to connect with some of my staff, and I took care of that, interacting with staff, getting things ready for the day and getting updates on things for about a half an hour. And then I went downstairs and began interacting with each and every person who came to this National Pro-Life Conference. There were various workshops going on, but I was mostly in the exhibit area, greeting people as they were coming and going, and went in to listen to some of the general presentations as well. But I was kind of going back and forth depending on whom I saw and whom I needed to connect to. But all these conversations in the hallways, or sometimes sitting down to the side, are very, very, very fruitful. Entire projects arise, or trips arise, or media interviews arise out of these conversations, or I give helpful information that pro-life groups can use and that leaders can benefit from. Did all that networking right up until lunchtime when I met up with the chairman of the board of National Right to Life. She's also the head of Florida Right to Life, where, of course, Preach for Life is based, Linda Bell. And she and I and a third person had lunch together right there in the hotel complex. And it was a working lunch, and we were talking about things like the Florida pro-abortion ballot measure and some things that we're doing and planning to stop that. So it was a good lunch meeting for about an hour. All of us went back to where the convention was gathering people, and we just networked for the whole afternoon. At 3:15, I met up with Peter Northcott. He is one of the strategic directors for National Right to Life and also does a lot of work on these state ballot measures. So we had a substantial meeting in regard to that. And then as the afternoon progressed, we had more of the workshops, more of the networking. And then at 4:30, I had a one-on-one meeting with a woman, Cecily Routman, who heads up the Jewish Pro-Life Foundation. And it was a very fruitful discussion with her about how we can promote more Jewish involvement in the pro-life movement, more understanding of the authentic Jewish position on abortion. She and I had a 4:30 meeting for about a half an hour. And then it came time for dinner. And at that point, let's see, what did I do for dinner? Oh yes, I was networking with various pro-life leaders in the lobby, and then one of them said, "You want to have dinner?" And it was right there in the lobby that we had a dinner, hooking up with various leaders even during the course of the dinner. And then we all went into the evening session that took place from like 7 to 8:30, and that session zeroed in on, again, these state ballot measures, very important topic, and we had representatives from different states. I made some comments as well, and I networked with people once the session was finished at 8:30 for about another hour or so. Back to my room and went to bed right after that. That was Friday the 20th. Saturday the 29th, I was in high gear once again, eager to get together with everybody there at the conference. And so what I did was started off with a little bit of work on my laptop, some communications about Independence Day, observing that with our special prayer effort for Independence Day, and then also Radio Maria, our upcoming programs on that radio network. Went down to the hotel lobby, got some breakfast there, and then there was a special meeting at 8:30 in the morning for about an hour, actually about 90 minutes. I was in that meeting. Again, it was a strategic meeting about the state ballot measures, a lot of good conversation. I contributed some insights to that. And then we went down for the other sessions of the conference, again, networking in the exhibit area. Just had so many conversations with people that I've known, worked with over the years in this movement, and some new people that were new to the conference that I got to know. And then, let's see, I had a special meeting at 11:30 with a young man who has started up a pro-life payment program, like PayPal. It's sort of like a pro-life version of PayPal. We had a good meeting for about a half an hour. Then I had lunch with the director of South Dakota Right to Life, and that was very fruitful as well. We had some good conversation there. Went right back to more networking. Then I took an interval to go to my room to take care of some writing I had to do and interacting with staff via email, not necessarily staff who were working that day because it was a Saturday, but emails then that they would see during the week. Did a little bit of that, went back down, continued networking with all the people at the conference, had some good meetings. There was another priest there from the CFRs, Father Benedict Rochelle's religious community, and chatted with him a little bit. Then we went into the workshop about the 2024 elections, of course, very important workshop. Did some conversation with the folks that presented that. And then a little bit later, early evening, there was a mass. So I went into the big room where they were having the mass, greeted the priest and the deacon, and had some conversation with them, and then was greeting folks as they were coming in. Various other pro-life leaders, had good discussion with James Bopp, one of the key pro-life attorneys in the country. We sat together for mass. The mass was from 6 to 7, and then we went into the cocktail hour. Our special guest for the evening was none other than Kayleigh McEnany. You would have seen that on my social media. So Kayleigh, who was the press spokesperson for President Trump, a White House press spokesperson, right after Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She was her successor in that position. had a nice conversation with her, and also with her parents and her sister who were there, and her husband and her children. So that was she gave a great talk that evening. It was a really nice encounter. We had the closing banquet, and that banquet was really a festive celebration. And then, of course, when the dinner was finished at about 10 o'clock, I was, for about another hour, networking with people because everyone was lingering. People were not in a rush to go. And a lot of great conversations with the pro-lifers from around the country. 2 days of a kid in a candy shop, this pro-life movement, friends, there's nothing like it. And I could not possibly imagine being happier or more fulfilled in my work. Impossible to imagine. So thank you for supporting that work. I hope you are finding great joy in your pro-life efforts. Let's continue moving.